In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about the importance of getting your media and your drives ready before production. So let's go. Okay, everybody, here we are. Another episode, and I am just a couple of days away from getting back on an airplane for this Steadicam Access production I'm doing this weekend. And I wanted to talk a little bit about being prepared for essentially media managing or data wrangling when you are in a small to no crew situation. And this is really a no crew situation. There will be some technical consultants around and some extra hands a little bit when I'm setting up, but for the most part, it's all on me. And that also means that at midday breaks and end of day, that all of the data wrangling is also going to be on me. So let me just talk to you a little bit about what I do in that kind of situation, and also just to reinforce this idea or remind everybody that when it comes to production, I'm not talking about post, but I'm talking about production. Well, I am actually talking about post. All of the money that you or your client is spending is going to be sitting on media, and that can include the cards that you're capturing to or drives, and also the hard drives that you're going to be using to back your stuff up. So if you don't do that properly, all of the money basically disappears and you have to start all over again. So getting everything ready, including formatting your cards before you start rolling and all of that, is really important. But to me, it's the data wrangling, the media managing, which is really critical. So what I have for this particular project, because we basically have 2 days of production, and I'm shooting on Sony mirrorless cameras, relatively low data rate, 100 megabits per second, 10-bit 422, works a treat. We're not doing any green screen stuff, but even in that situation, it should hold up quite well. Is I have these two 4 terabyte, these are the X9 Pro drives from Crucial. They're pretty cost effective, they're fast, and I haven't had any issues with them at all. And it's just amazing to me how small these little suckers are. I'm going to actually be storing them, which is ridiculous, in these little filter cases from TIFFEN, and they'll just fit right inside of there. All right, so I have 2 drives, and the way I have those set up is I've already labeled them what the project is. Steadicam Access June 2024. This is the backup drive. I have another one that says master. You might say primary, master, secondary, primary, secondary, master, backup, whatever you want to do for those 2 drives. And each time that I'm going to be backing up footage or audio or whatever it's going to be, I am going to first put that onto the master or primary drive, and then that will get copied over to the secondary or backup drive. Okay, so you have your 2 drives, primary, secondary, master, backup, and now what you want to do is, before you go to your production location, actually set up some sort of structure on that master or primary drive so you don't have to think about it the day of or the days that you are data wrangling. So let's just take a look. You'll see that I have 3 main folders here on the master or the primary drive. I don't have this folder structure on the secondary or the backup drive because as I start to add media to this drive, the main one, I will then copy that over to the secondary or backup drive. So the first folder is just for the Friday that I arrive. There's not really a lot of content that's going to be captured, though we are going to be doing some tabletop product-based photography, so I have a stills folder. Very importantly, at least in my mind, is as you're creating folders related to a project, make sure that you put dates on all of those folders, because it's really hard when you start to search through a project, and let's say you shot over 2 days, and you have folders for A cam and B cam. If you don't put a date or any other information on those folder names, then when you look for A cam, you're going to get multiple hits, as opposed to seeing immediately when you get those hits that there are different dates associated with them. So stills for just Friday, and then on Saturday, a lot more folders, and you'll see the same structure for Sunday or for the second day of the production. So under A cam, I'm anticipating that we're going to be shooting in the morning and then also in the afternoon. So I have a card 1 for ACAM with the date and then a card 2 for ACAM with the date. And that's most likely the way things are going to get backed up. I have an audio folder with the date that will dump all the audio for the entire day. That's the 32-bit float audio that I'll have on the mix pre 6.2, and I'll also set that up ahead of time with just the names of the files so that they're appropriate to the production. Then I have these other folders here for the cameras that we are going to be putting onto the Steadicam Access. So there's the C400 and then there's the FX9. Those are the 2 cameras that are going to be on there. So this is essentially what I would call hero or through the lens footage from the Steadicam stuff. And again, if I take any stills on that day, there is a folder for stills, and you'll see that that folder structure carries through for day 2. You open up A camera, you open up B camera, and you'll see there's a card 1 and a card 2. Essentially, that's morning and afternoon in terms of data wrangling, because I know those are the times that I'm going to be able to do it, right? I'm going to start off in the beginning of the day with cards in the cameras, and then we're going to break for lunch, and I'm going to pull those cards and start to back them up over lunchtime, and then end of day, ideally on location or at the place we're doing production, I'm going to go ahead and have time to back those up. Worst case scenario, I take those cards with me and I go back to the hotel and I data wrangle there. That's basically the deal. So just make sure that you have all of your media set up for your projects, label things ahead of time, create some sort of folder structure that works for you or the editor that you're working with. That's another tip, is check with the editor in terms of how they would like that folder structure to be laid out, hopefully in a logical way that makes sense to your production. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.